Multiculturalism is a cultural phenomenon that is taking place not only in the education circle, but also all around the world. Understandably, teaching is a multicultural encounter that cannot be ignored. Because of this, teachers need to understand the premise of multiculturalism, the different viewpoints, and then we need to be able to know where we stand on the issue. Even in our classrooms, we have many different multicultural groups, such as race, gender, class, and finally religion. These groups are just a start to what is an endless list of diverse groups we will encounter in our schools. I have chosen to look primarily at a Christian's response to multiculturalism, specifically how we approach unity and diversity in the classrooms, and then what the Bible says about this. As we go through this presentation, I want to give you the simple definition and two different viewpoints of the issue. Finally, I will finish up with my comments and thoughts of multiculturalism. Multiculturalism has a short definition, but is still a very complex issue. The definition, as defined by the Credo database topic page, is a genuine respect and understanding of cultural differences. This means that we have an authentic acceptance for all diverse students. The views that I will be presenting are based mainly on the articles Multiculturalism by Salter, Equity Pedagogy by Banks and Banks, and Cultural Autobiography for Christian Multicultural Educators by Chang. The first view is taken primarily from Dr. Salter's article. First, Salter points out that multiculturalism is a current, fashionable issue of today that has not been an issue in history. Secondly, he goes on to say that we will be able to serve our students better if we all become more culturally sensitive, which is so true. But he then adds that educators have taken a wrong turn to include a myriad of specialty groups, and as a result, any picture of cohesion in our classrooms has been shattered. Finally, he claims that because of our attempts to diversify so far, our focus has been taken off academics and been put onto recognizing individual groups. Basically, he is saying that our schools are no longer teaching core academics to the extent that we should, and instead we are focusing our time on society groups. My second view is based off the articles Equity Pedagogy by Banks and Banks and Cultural Autobiography for Christian Multicultural Educators by Chang. I am going to focus on the 3 points I have already brought up with view 1, but this time I'm going to focus on the opposite perspective. In Chang's article, he proves that there is a history of multiculturalism from the Bible, and the perfect teacher told the story. It was the story of the Good Samaritan. In this story, many different ethnic groups were represented. Why is this such a big deal? It shows that the Good Samaritan was willing to look past social prejudices and at different ethnicities and help a neighbor out. Chang also points out the passage Matthew 5:43-48, where Jesus calls us to go out into the world and teach all nations. What that means for us as Christian educators is that we should not remain in our protected Christian circle. All of the articles that I have read are in agreement that to be a well-rounded, effective teacher to diverse students, we must have an understanding and respect for all cultures and groups. The point of disagreement, however, comes when we talk about how much diversity to show in classrooms. Banks and Banks and also Chang write in their articles that before we can actually become unified, we must first understand and respect the diversities. Once we understand the diversities, we can then become unified and better work together towards academic and social education. Now that I have shown 2 different perspectives, I want to talk about my stand on the issue. I think that the fault in Salter is that he didn't look at our perfect teacher. Jesus gives us examples of multiculturalism in the Bible, and he also tells us how to deal with those situations. So when it comes to my classroom, I will reach out to all multicultural groups with love. Remembering the emphasis Jesus had on multiculturalism, I safely say that we need to understand different multicultural groups before we can effectively teach our classrooms. Banks and Banks points out in their article that school teaching and learning takes place primarily in groups and in social interactions. But before this can be effective, we must understand ourselves and our students' multicultural background.